channel, be sure to subscribe because playing these games and making game reviews like this, they take a long time, and I really try to put my best effort into it so that people can look at games from a high level perspective. And in this case, is a very good example because I'm playing an opponent who is much weaker than I, 221 points lower than me, and I'm going to show you how you can imbalance the game and make there be imbalances so that that position gets somewhat complicated and you can come out on top because you're a high rated player and you're probably better uh, tactically speaking and in some positional cases. And as you can see, I did make some mistakes. Although Leechess apparently thinks I played like a 28-15, I do not agree with that. I do not agree with that at all. I think it was much lower. Opponent 2479. Again, I think it was a little lower as well. So we have d4 g6. Not too crazy. You can already see me trying to make imbalances as I'm sacrificing a lot of space. Now knight c3 is played. Now I was considering the move d5 here to transpose into some kind of Chigorin slash Grunfeld-esque position with knight of 6 d5, or like d5 knight of 6. I didn't want to do that because I thought that was like a little simple, and even though I'm 221 points higher rated than my opponent in this game, who knows what kind of drawing slash game killing mechanisms that my opponent might try to do. So I play as provocative as possible, and I allow my opponent the entire center, which is the point of this opening. And he does just that with, just kidding, he went bishop to f4. Now again, d5 is definitely the best move because, yeah, Chigorin bishop f4 London stuff is not great, especially against a setup like this with either d5 knight 6 or the one that I decide to play, d6. Now, if my opponent is a Jobava London player, they would have wanted this maybe fork trick on c7. That is never going to happen now because I have a pawn on d6. Amazing. Now the game proceeds with e4. I believe Levi Rosman, Gotham Chess, recommends this against the modern in his course. It's either this or I think this might be the thing against the perk defense that he recommends. One of the two, but I chose to play this. The reason I did not go knight d7 to prepare e5 against this Londonish bishop is because I wanted my knight to, if it was ever attacked when I play e5, I wanted it to go back to e7 to support f5 and my structure and overall attack going forward at the king side. And later in this game, my opponent castles long, and you'll see how that goes. Opponent went knight f3. I went here to pin because I was also threatening the d4 pawn. And I also want to maybe damage the structure, maybe get some knight outposts on f5, maybe d4, which is actually what it ends up happening in the game. My opponent goes back, so this is essentially some kind of a classical modern slash 150 attack with bishop d3, except for I'm up a tempo. So it's not plus 0.6, it's plus 0.4. Actually, exactly plus 0.4. It's because I'm up a tempo now. He went boop and then boop. So now I have the extra tempo. I use it to play e5. The engine wanted me to go here, but as you can see, it's the difference between 0.40 and 0.42. So my lord, that does not matter. He went d5, which actually wasn't really the best move. Eval takes a little bit of hit there, and I actually went forward here. I could have gone back and supported for f5, but my bishop is already out, and I wanted to play against this knight and this pin here. He went here, inaccuracy, and I also agree that that is an inaccuracy because he allows me to damage his pawn structures with bishop takes. not knight takes, because then he can, because then I don't have this outpost of a knight. I don't have a knight to support f5. I can try to get one. He might go queen e2 and take it. I could also go in 87, but then he could try pinning me, and then I would have a little bit of a cagey setup, and it would give White a lot of play. So I decided to do this, and now I wanted to kind of smother the opponent here. The best move was c6, chipping away at the structure. As you can see, the game could have proceeded something along the lines of not. Oh my lord. Okay, so something like this, and it would, yeah, it would just be like a position where I win a pawn, and I just get this position. I didn't really want to go for this because I felt like it was a little bit easier for White to play this instead of what I ended up doing, which was this. This was a horrible move. I know I could have taken this bishop, but I wanted to smother the opponent a little bit with this knight, so I moved my king. Not the best move, and during the game, I kind of figured that the best move was to take, and let's see, was it? Yeah, the best move was to take. I felt like it was, but I wanted to keep as many pieces on the board as possible. He went here, and now I was considering between a6 and f5, and also queen h5, h4, my fault. The reason I wanted to go here maybe was because I might get a knight to f5, the pawn would be pinned, you can't castle because I can take this, and looking back I probably should have played that, but I played f5, slight inaccuracy. He plays this, which is, it's not a good move. You really want to shut out the queen here and get your bishop into the game in a much better way. He went here. I played this first because I didn't want the bishop to interfere with any defense that I was going to set up. I should have taken here to open up bishop's defense of the knight and the bishop's opening in general. I took here because I wanted to get this double knight outpost, which I later ended up doing. Opponent here, not sure what that was. Not sure if that was a mouse slip or what. He spent 18 seconds on it. Not sure what the thought process was there. That just hands a full bishop. So yeah, as you can see, the principled play, as indicated by the blue, is going skyrocketing for me because it's much easier to play up a piece than down a piece. Who would have thought? Welcome to my game reviews. Because yeah, you learn a lot. Like playing up a full bishop is better than playing down a full bishop. So we get some moves here. I'm trying to set up a defensive fortress here. By the way, he's down a full knight. My bad. These mean these are opposite colored bishops. So I just said full bishop. My bad. So I'm trying to set up a fortress here. Trying to get like maybe a rook here or here. Get this pawn maybe. Get the double knight anchored outposts. This isn't really an outpost. You can like try to move the knight, play c3. His king gets weaker if he does do that though. Now, the best move was to go here right away. I figured that g5 was the idea to defend in this position, but I did it in a slightly different way. I went here, kind of an inaccuracy. But yeah, it's still not the not wasn't really the best move, but it's still fine. I just wanted my g5 move to be slightly more supported. Now I get the double knight outpost. He sacks a pawn, and then he sacks a rook. I took with the queen because taking with the king, yeah, I didn't want any tactics to come up, especially because this bishop kind of laser beams the light squares in my position. So I went here, and so here's what's going on. He can take here, and that I didn't. This is a little bit more dangerous to me than the queen coming here, because I had saw that when the queen comes here, hitting everything over here, Queen back, blocking. He can't actually take anything. My pawn is defended. This pawn would be extra defended by the queen. And the queen can't really go anywhere other than back, so I ended up playing here, which was a good move. He went here anyways, I blocked, he went back, and I decided to put a rook here to just reinforce this backwards pawn on d6. It was already supported, but it also stops this check from becoming a tactical issue. I don't know why that happened. I did not click back. Let me just get back to the position here. All right, so yeah. I just didn't want that to be an issue. I didn't want this check on d2 to become a tactical issue. So he goes here, setting up some sacrifices potentially. I realized that there was no threat, so I just played b5, trying to get some semblance of counterplay. He kind of shuts that down a bit. I mean, this pawn is weak. I could go after it, but I decide to make my fortress even better with this move, patrolling a bunch of squares, reinforcing the pawns a bit more. He just starts to move his king back and forth. I'm not sure why. I would be more focused on getting the knight into the game. Perhaps he does eventually do that, but it was definitely too late when he does. So I try to get my knight in. He stops that. I just realized I kind of had to go back. This wasn't a repetition, and I knew it was because I had made multiple different moves. So yeah, and then I went b5 to try to get this knight off. It leaves, and then I go here. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to take this pawn. His best move is to move his king again. Surprised he didn't play, honestly. He goes here. Not really sure why that's even an inaccuracy, but I do take the pawn. He goes here, setting up maybe a sacrifice. It's also important to note that I'm also threatening a fork of the king and the bishop, and even when he does set up the sacrifices that might potentially be in order on my king here, when I fork him and take the bishop, my knight defends g5, which is very important because otherwise I might end up having to lose a queen. Not necessarily in that example, but it is a potential threat. His his best move is actually to go here. Yeah, and I would have just taken probably. What is the? Well, that's cool. Yeah. So, anyways, what happened in the game? This was made in 7. I did get a little bit scared, and I went here and sacking the rook for defensive purposes. Gotham would be proud. I'm just kidding, probably not. He would probably be very ashamed in this game. So I just try to make a defensive fortress, which I end up doing. There are no checks, and my bishop can cover this diagonal here. Queen goes back. I went g5, trying to deflect the queen away from the defense of the rook. This is the only move. And then I trap the rook with this move here. He's forced to trade. And here, I just take the pawn with check. He goes here, handing a minus mate in 27. I don't expect anyone to see mate in 27, but I do expect someone to play this. This is made. Yeah, it wasn't made in 27. What is it made in, actually? Well, led to mate. He went here defending against mate. I just sacked for it, and then this is just a winning pawn in game. If you can't win this, I mean, I'm sorry, but maybe this game isn't for you. You just have to keep this fortress here. If the king ever goes, you could just push the pawn. The king's cut off. You just, I don't know, go win some pawns, and then just win the game. Boop, 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 boop. And I mean, yeah, if you can't win up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 queens, then I mean, yeah. So overall, sick game. I got the best of the opponent here as he hung the bishop. Not sure why he did that, but we all have our moments of when we hand full pieces in a classical game with 28 minutes on the clock. We all have our moments where we hand a bishop with okay, when was the bishop hand? Okay, 18 minutes on the clock. He had 18 minutes to not hand a bishop. Unfortunate, but hey, what are you gonna do? Anyways, that's really it, guys. I will see you all later. Subscribe.